much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly virtual productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. And coming soon, I will be launching a membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com to request my Zoom room link, or follow the Zoom room link on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 124. My title for today is Plot Twist, Start with the Big Project, and here's why. I had a massage recently with a new therapist. It went very well. I greatly appreciate professionals and their skills. This person is new to my chiropractor's office. And if you live near me and need a referral for chiropractic or massage or nutritional supplements, this office does it all. DM me if you want to know more. Not surprisingly, though, if you know me, this new-to-me massage therapist and I chatted during my massage. I wanted to get to know more about her and her philosophy and skill set. And she used some strategies I had not experienced with other massage therapists, some stretching and activation, and it was really amazing. And because it was new to me, I asked a lot of questions because, hey, what else am I going to do while I lay there? As we discussed what she was doing, she mentioned that she starts with the biggest muscles in the muscle group and then moves on to the smallest. For her purposes, starting with the biggest muscle in the group means everything gets progressively easier after that. All the other smaller ones that come after in the same area start to relax as well before she even gets to them because they are attached to the biggest. Now, I am not a medical person, but this perspective made me think, as things often do, where else could I apply this little nugget of knowledge? And surely, start with the biggest sometimes applies to coaching and organizing, professional and personal development. And this shift in perspective challenges me to suggest that sometimes we need to start with the big project. Now, why this is noteworthy is because very often, start with the big project is not my typical advice to give or my own route to take. I will often offer the advice to start with the easiest or quickest challenge to solve. Let's say, for example, that I have 5 projects in front of me. Some are going to take a really long time and have multiple steps, but some could be accomplished and completed very quickly. So I might recommend and also prioritize for myself to start working on the ones that will come with the boost, the dopamine rush of quick completion. We go with the quickest because we get that feeling of accomplishment and we get to cross something off the list sooner. We prioritize short duration instead of long. Another way to prioritize our projects is easy versus hard. A project can be easy even if it's complex, and that might be where you want to start because even though there's a lot of steps, they are simple or familiar to you. So it might be complex, but it's still easy because we don't have to learn anything new or do anything new. There might not be new skills to learn. So easy projects are straightforward with familiar steps to take. And maybe they require little extra resources or they aren't physically or mentally taxing. So we prioritize easy over hard, quick over slow. And then there's back to today's topic, big versus small, right? So what makes a big project big? Perhaps you and I have to learn things or learn new things or dedicate resources like money or time or people power to the project. Maybe they are physically or mentally or emotionally taxing, or they're just not typical. Maybe they require more input from others or more decision making, which is sometimes really hard. And therefore, we don't start with big, and I won't always start with big with my clients. But this new massage therapist challenged me to shift and realize the benefits to starting big. Start big because starting with the big projects make the small projects go more smoothly. Or start with the big project because big projects have often waited the longest. Maybe we start with the big project because sometimes the big project also has the biggest return on investment, meaning they yield the biggest positive results. And I can remind myself that even if I start the big project today, I don't have to also expect to finish the big project today, but at least I started it. I'm being intentionally vague as I talk about our big projects, yours and mine, because maybe for you, it's a professional project, or maybe a personal project or a home project, and that is up to you. But let me share a personal example to show the point. The other day, we were discussing a house project for this summer. My husband and one of my sons who's home between contracts for another week and myself. And it's gonna be a big one. And it's also gonna open up a lot of great opportunities when it's completed. We are going to shuffle ownership of 2 bedrooms in my house. Now that sounds like a big deal. Honestly, we only have like 3 and kind of a 4th. So, doing this though means moving people's things around, purging a few pieces of furniture and purchasing a few others. Do we need to paint? I don't know. I guess I'll find out. There will definitely be taking things off some walls and hanging things on other walls. There will be a lot of moving pieces, metaphorically and literally, and the end result will be a major improvement. This project has needed to happen for a very long time, and the longer we wait, the more complicated it becomes. But starting with the big, right? Once this project is squared away, many other things will fall into place. Completing this big project makes the smaller projects afterwards much easier. Kind of like my massage therapist mentioned, right? Releasing that biggest muscle in the muscle group makes the smaller muscles easier to work with. Tackling the big project first provides dedicated workspace that I don't have to move in and out of anymore. I can set up a permanent recording space for videos and social media, and maybe even a permanent yoga space, which would help me personally. We will move beds around and purchase another queen-size bed, which provides more space for guests. And I will remind you and me, I did not say that I will immediately complete this big project, right? But starting the big project is the first part of the process. It can make everything behind it go faster, but we don't have to expect to complete it immediately. Back to the analogy of my massage therapist. She tackles the big muscles first so that other muscles feel relief and things go more smoothly. I don't expect to both start and finish immediately, but I need to get started. Why? Because it's big. It's gonna take a while. And sometimes that makes us stop or avoid or procrastinate, but those strategies keep us from growing and succeeding. So, 3 ideas to help us start with the big project. First, let's remember that every big project is a series of small projects. Remembering that makes those big projects less scary. It doesn't necessarily make them smaller, but it definitely shifts our perspective and makes them feel more doable, which will help us to start and also to keep going. Second, as we think about tackling those big projects, let's remember the wins. Big projects may be a lot of work, but there are often a lot of benefits that come along with them. And imagining the wins, the end product, keeps us motivated when the work gets hard or requires extra time and energy and resources. Maybe your internal script sounds like this. When I'm overwhelmed, because it's overwhelming, I can remind myself that even though there's chaos in the midst of the project once it's done, I will be able to do X and Y and Z better, faster, quicker, easier, right? And that will make my life better in this way and that way. Those are things that we can remind ourselves in the middle of those big projects. So let's identify those big projects. And if it's time, let's start with the big project. because we've waited long enough. And that is the third step, right? Recognizing that we've waited long enough, that everything will be a little easier afterwards, and that the payoff will be worth it. Because we have to start the project if we ever hope to finish it. At least we can say we started. And thanks to Simona for the perspective shift and the great massage. I will see her again in a few weeks. So, support around getting things done is what productivity coaching is all about. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and talk to you next week.